All right, evening girls. This is our first straight line performance RSI Racing Girl Power Hour, okay? Really what we want to do here tonight is go over a lot of the girl riding stuff. So myself being a guy, I can't help you. I don't know what to do. I'm not in charge of this program. My daughter Emma is here with us tonight. So we have some audience to help us, and she's got some great questions for you. This is something typically we would do at like heydays, but obviously due to this wonderful world of COVID, we're not being able to do this. So here's the new world, and this is how it's going to be. So we don't have much of an option. I have four incredible ladies and my beautiful daughter here with us tonight. So I am excited. All you are riders. We have younger riders. We have more seasoned riders. And we also have one guest that'll be coming on a little bit too. So we kind of can open that up a little bit. Combined, you have many years of experience, and we want to pass that knowledge down as much as we can, whether it be down or up, depending upon when you start to ride. I don't care. So, I mean, the big thing is to get them into riding. So really, we want to start with some introductions. If you'd like to introduce yourself, give us a little riding experience, what you've done, racing, backcountry trail, a little why you ride. I mean, why do you want to be involved? How did you get in riding? Give us a little background. So we'll start, Leah, you up on the left hand and go down through everyone.
Hi, I'm Leah Bauer. I race cross-country snowmobiles. I am on a Polaris, and I started riding when I was really super young with my dad. He's a world junior champion ice racer. So I actually I did a little bit of dabbled in snowcross, very little when I was younger, and then I jumped into the ice ovals, and now I've been racing cross-country for probably 7-ish years now. I love snowmobiling. It's my favorite thing in pretty much the whole world. I grew up riding trails. My dad's a huge trail rider. We go all the time, long distance. It's just my biggest passion, and I really want to get more girls involved, so that's why I'm here.
Excellent. Go ahead, Nicole.
Paul. I'm 23. I don't have as much as experience as Leah. I just started snowmobiling about 2 years ago. I got into it because of my older brother, Alex. I'm here today because I don't want women to hold back like I did and take so long just because, the men saw my limitations, my differences, and I was just scared. So I don't want other women to follow that path. I want them to get engaged right away. So best thing I ever did.
Great perspective. Thank you. Ashley?
Hi, I'm Ashley Lucan. I've been in the industry probably for 29 years now. I started racing when I was 4 years old, grass drag racing, up until I was about 14 years old. My father was a grass dragger as well, so that's kind of how I got into it. He's still my mechanic. He's always been my mechanic, so a little bit about that. He's a trail rider. I grew up trail riding, and then, I found a little bit about backcountry, which is not really conducive of New England riding. It's kind of new in the newer way of a riding style out here. Probably about 5 or 6 years ago when I got my Renegade, and then it was 136, I was like, oh, I can go off trail. Yeah, well, it's a lot easier to do it with a longer track, and I'm sure Danielle can attest to that.
Definitely.
But like I said, I've been in backcountry for about five years now, and thoroughly enjoy it. And obviously why I'm here is because I want the younger generation to come up and kind of take hold of the industry and try to show as much passion as we do right now. So that's kind of why I'm here.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Danielle?
I'm Danielle. I'm 22 years old, so I've been riding for roughly 20 years. My family grew up riding, so it wasn't a question for me, but it was all trail riding when I was real young. Then once I was about 12 years old, I'd say, we started going off trail with the short tracks, which was logging the road off trail.
Mm-hmm.
But gave us the drive to want to try it, like Ashley was saying. Tried it on shorter tracks, was super difficult, but super interesting. So my dad and I, it was our sport together, still is, and how we connected. So that was super cool. We grew into it together. And as I got older and more experienced, we just kept upgrading sleds, which allows you to only get better and better as you upgrade. Then we started going to Canada, which only taught me more. And every year I find myself being the only girl riding with a bunch of guys, but having all the girlfriends be jealous and want to ride. So I've been slowly bringing them in, which is really tough because a lot of them don't know how to learn and the guys don't know how to teach them. So definitely something I want to push for, and to only have more friends in the industry is huge. There's so little bit of us doing backcountry. Oh, but also watercross. Summer started to get really boring not riding for that long. So got into watercross racing. It's only been about a year and a half now, but it's super exciting and a new sport to me, but it's on a same lawn track, backcountry sled. So I've only learned so much more since I've done that, which is great. And there's only a handful of us ladies, only one class. So that's awesome too.
Well, great. I appreciate it. It's great to have a panel on here that has an array. I mean, it's a big difference. I mean, we want to make sure that we have as much experience to pass on as we can tonight. And Danielle, you brought up some great points. That is our goal tonight, to look at some of these options. So what I'll do right now is let me bring in one other little invite here we've got tonight that can introduce herself too.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jody.
Hey, Jody. Good to see you. Hey.
God, it's been so long since I've seen all of you.
I know.
And Leah, I'm glad you're feeling good.
Thank you. Yes. Finally here.
So yeah, a few of you ladies know each other. Everyone else, Jody, why don't you introduce yourself and how you've been in the sport and your years of riding?
Well, actually, Danielle, I've heard about you from the East Coast. I'm originally from the New York, New Jersey area. I live in Michigan now. Lee, I've known over the years. I lost somebody too. Nicole. There's Ashley. Okay. So I am the oldest out of the group. I am turning 49 next week. So Jason had to go through using how to do Zoom.
A day over 29.
Yeah, I'm 29.
Great.
We'll play
We got a gamut here.
Ooh, what'd you say, Jason?
We have an age group here. We go from 8 to 48, right?
Right. So I've got to turn this up while we're talking. So yeah, so I've been in this. I actually started on water skis. Being from New Jersey, I did everything water-based until I met people at the X Games in Vermont, and that was in 98 or something. Kind of lost track. And then I started working for Snowcross in 2000. So I've been in the snowmobile industry working somehow since 2000. In fact, it's kind of a joke with Snowgoer magazine that myself and a few of the other owners of businesses have outdated ourselves. We've seen a lot of companies go and come and go. But yeah, so my first snowmobile adventure was riding on the back of a snowcross sled when a snowcross racer was driving it, jumping me over a pond. So I wasn't so sure if I was ever going to continue riding snowmobiles after that. But being from water skiing and jet ski racing, I said, I got to do this on my own. So I learned actually at, Danielle might know this, but the track in Syracuse, the, the casino.
Is it? It's, are you talking about, it starts with an S. Oh my God. I know what you're talking about though.
So that was my first real ride on a snowmobile. Was on a snowcross track with Blair Morgan and some of those guys from back in the day. Tucker Herbert wasn't, old enough to be in high school yet. But so I've been snowmobiling since then, and then took on Pink Ribbon Riders, worked for Castle Clothing for a while, got to work for WSA, got to work for Rock Maple Racing, Big East Snowcross, and did a little bit with ESPN X Games. So it's been an amazing adventure in snowmobiling, and I was listening to all of you guys, and it just reminds me of everything I've gone through and gotten to experience, because you do meet some of your best friends that you'll ever stay with. You definitely are going to ride with more guys than you're ever going to ride with girls. But this is so cool that Jason's doing this and bringing, we'll say, 20 plus years of our experience all together to hopefully help other girls out there with their gear and their equipment and things that, like Jason being my friend, would do to his girlfriend or his wife. Says, here's a snowmobile. Don't worry that it has a turbo blast / can / I didn't even know what it was called.
Clutching.
Just when you hit that button, hold on, he told me.
Just make sure you keep up. That's my deal. We don't have time to teach you.
And Emma knows that very well. She's a great rider herself because I think she's taught herself more than her dad's taught her. But let's see what we can do to help the girls out there and continue women, not only riders, but maybe more in the industry working in careers.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Well, tonight, I think we'll get some questions rolling and see if we can get some good information, which with our experience on this entire panel, there should be no reason why we can't. So I want to start with some real basics right now. And the first thing right off this cuff, what are some of the things you're like, hey, I want to take my friend, whether it be, a friend, a girlfriend, it's the first time riding. What are you going to tell her? What do we have? Hey, there's this giant snowmobile over here, get on, keep up. That's the guy attitude. And I don't want to be going 30 miles an hour. So what are we going to do about this? And what would you girls say?
Best of luck with that.
Yeah, then I have to go 30 miles an hour.
I don't know why mine is still married to me because that was my attitude. So.
Honestly, I have taken a few of my friends who don't ride and I bring them to my camp and we have a huge field and I'll stick them in the field and just say, get used to the throttle. That's my biggest concern is get used to the throttle, know where the kill switch is and know how to brake.
Right.
Not go
Yeah,
over
throttle
handlebars.
control is a big one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I always try to tell people it's not about how fast you go, it's about how much control you're in. The more control you're in, the better you're going to ride, the more fun you're going to have. And plus, the less trees you hit because you're in control, there's a lot less you have to pay for later on.
Right.
You just want to show up the guys. Let them do the wreckage,
Right.
Yeah,
That's
that
what you
throttles
do.
were definitely your best friend.
So I took my sister, she's grew up riding with me, but hasn't had the opportunity to get into backcountry, primarily because she didn't have a sled. So I took her up to a ladies' clinic at the sled den, and we had a 12-hour drive together, and we watched sled videos the entire drive. Went over the beginning, I just wanted her to see what people do. And it wasn't videos of women, so that would be cool to have in the future. But I just made her watch what they're doing and study it, which isn't necessarily what taught her, but I just walked her through it, with my personal experience of what I would do. But like Ashley said, first thing we did, straight to an open area. Luckily, they had 2 feet of fresh powder up there, which was ideal for them. And we just worked on throttle control along with feeling the sled, learn how to carve. I made her be able to get it on edge because if you can't do that, then you don't have throttle control. And then worked up there, and by the end of the 3 days, she was in the trees, not really riding, but she was able to walk the sled through the woods, which was huge. But yeah, starting with the basics, which is definitely throttle control.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think a big thing is just telling them go slow. It's not that scary because they automatically assume you just have to pin it and it's a really scary thing.
Whiskey throttle.
Yeah, if they just go slow. And I always say too, look where you want to go. Don't be staring straight down. Look where you want to go and then just take your time. You don't have to go fast. It's really not as scary. Once they finally get on and they learn a little bit of throttle control, it's a lot less scary. It's just the initial getting on for the very first time, hitting the throttle, getting the throttle control, figuring out where you want to go. Those are the main things. And then they'll be, every time they go on, it's going to be easier and easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
My first time riding out west, I'll never forget. I was with all the magazine people and one of the manufacturers at the time, and I was riding 1,000 sled or something, and it was my literally first time outside a Togedy parking lot, and some guy just said, "Don't look at the trees."
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
What do you mean? There's a
Look at 'em,
whole
that's where you're
forest.
going.
And he says, "Don't look at the trees." So we get up there and, we're not on the trail, but there's no trees around. So I'm kind of making myself up. All of a sudden, I looked at the tree, right into the tree bell. And then what happens is basically like this later on.
Yep.
So I think
Guilty as well.
there you go. So the only thing good about the mountains, that snow is usually soft, but that was March, so that was really hard snow. But yeah, it's just like motorcycle riding, you know, look where you want to go. You know, and the way the sleds are made nowadays, after that Rev came out, that Rev chassis, how great was it that our ergonomics, guys are strong in the muscles up here in the arms, but women, now all you have to do is lean. If you just lean and you look, that's where your sled is going to go. And I think that's the number one thing when I've done classes for women is, you know, look where you want to go. And if you look at that tree, you're going
to that tree.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Danielle can concur to this. Where we ride, there's trees everywhere, and you're gonna eventually go into a tree. So
Actually, if you go into a tree,
that one.
You know, one thing I'd point out sometimes that I tell people too is when you ride in the Midwest or even in the East Coast where some of you are at, I mean, you take that first ride out and within the first stop, they come and they go, why does everyone keep waving at me? They're giving me like the peace signal and what's going on? And you know, we take a lot of this for granted too. So these basic lifestyle questions of what's happening, those are one things that I brought up to them. Like, what do you mean? They're like high-fiving and, you know, fist bumping and what's all this crap? So, you know.
We're all a big family. Everybody loves everybody that rides.
Yeah, exactly.
I wave at everyone.
Out here, they're really pushing those lights, though. Like, if you're a trail rider, they are really pushing those, the amber and green lights.
Okay.
Yeah, really bad, actually. To the point where, like, Fish and Game will be like, why don't you have them? I don't know, because I can use my hand.
Yeah.
That is definitely the new wave is doing the lights, that's for sure. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
How about moving into some of the machine stuff here? Let's talk a little bit of some style, some CC, a little bit of factory options. So we're gonna put our new rider on this machine. Where are we gonna put them? What kind of machine do we put them on? Does it really make a difference? What are your thoughts on that?
For me, the more horsepower, the better. Starting out, my brother and dad were like, you know, I got a 600. And then I was like, no, I can't do it because it was just too heavy. I then moved to an 800. And you can tell my brother was hesitant because I wanted to move up to an 850 right away, which I did last year. I had my 850 probably for 4 months last year. And it's the best thing I ever did. The machine makes me look good compared to a 600. I compared the two and it was just awful. So definitely get the higher.
I don't know. I'm old school. And I mean, I grew up on a kitty cat. That was my first sled.
Yeah.
I would.
And your father probably still governed it.
Yeah. To me, to throw someone, a brand new rider on an 850 is like putting someone on a leader bike.
Yeah.
That's, in my head, that's exactly what that means. I'm a little bit cautious to do that. Happy that it worked out for you.
Yeah.
I think
it's just not something that I would do personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's different too between mountain sleds and trail sleds, because in the mountains you're going to need more power and it'll be easier to throw the thing around. But for a trail rider, I would never throw anyone on like an 800 or 850. I'd be like, no, let's just pump the brakes here. Let's get you on like a 600 and learn that way. But so it depends on the terrain, I guess.
Well, it also depends on altitude too, right there. Because Danielle and I have naturally, well, now I have a turbo, but naturally aspirated east. Is nothing compared to like out west. So also depends. You're right. It depends on the terrain. It depends on where you are geographically as well, on what sled to kind of put someone on.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say put them on a Polaris for backcountry, but I'm very biased because I've only ever been on a Polaris.
Yeah, you're a bit biased on that one, just like I'm just as biased as I should be on a Skidoo, but that's okay.
I know.
Yeah.
We're gonna have different opinions.
Everything's all you want. Go ahead.
I've only been on a Polaris, so I actually have tried a Skidoo, but I didn't try it long enough, so I didn't give it a full try. I would need to be on it for like a weekend, I think.
I don't care what you ride, you just want to ride. That's the big.
Okay. The cool thing about nowadays is it's not like when I started riding and you had to ride the machines that looked like a kitty cat, but they were completely flat and they were the big machines.
Yeah.
You couldn't turn them for anything.
Sure.
Like a phaser?
Yeah.
I have one of those.
Us
Yeah.
older generation, we had to sit back like this and try to drive.
Yeah.
I was there too. Older generation.
I don't know how we did. How's that?
Yeah, but the machines nowadays, I mean, again, I'm a little biased to a Polaris that supports us, but it's just amazing the way all the technologies come forward. And yes, I think all the girls said it. You got to look at terrain first. Power, I think, yes, depending on also your personality. Are you somebody that already rides jet skis? Do you ride motorcycles?
Mhm.
You know, what is your experience level? And if you have that opportunity to borrow a sled from a friend just for an hour or two, or let the dealership, you know, do what's that called, demos and
A
things
demo
like
day, yeah.
you know, that's just the best way. I mean, I kind of believe that you'll learn how to ride what you are given, but you also don't have to put yourself in the most extreme terrain to try to learn that the first day or your first season.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think you guys all hit it right on the nail. And so unlike Emma, though, who can just pop on one of the race sleds and ride anything,
Kudos to you, man.
So you bring up a good point that a lot of you women drive something else.
Oh,
Oh no.
Oh God, what's on the internet?
Oh boy, Leah.
We all have other interests, and it's amazing how much this can really affect riding a snowmobile. There's no doubt about it. So, you know, I have a pretty diverse panel. How's that? So, I've seen
It all
that.
comes with throttle control.
I don't have much throttle control on my bike.
That's good.
Hit it and
That's
go.
why I bring it to a track to take that aggression out. That's
Right.
How about some of the? We get the machine now. We've got it picked out. We're gonna let them ride what we have. And how about some accessorizing? Anything that you think these are some important changes to make for your rider?
For me personally, I put more narrow bars on my sleds just because, especially for when I do the cross country ice races, I really have to get down and get over. So if I have a narrow bar, I'm not reaching as far. And then I don't want to give all my secrets away, but I twist my throttle down just a little bit. So I'm not having to get up to reach it. It's more down here so that So for me, I mean, I like the narrow bar. I don't really do risers, obviously, but for me, a narrow bar works really well. And then
We have been hearing that a lot in our industry too. Narrow bar. So.
And I chop my seat.
And what?
So I chop my seat.
Okay.
Yeah, so the terrain races I don't, but for the ice races to get lower, I chop my seat lower so that I can get further down to the ground, like basically dragging my knee on the ice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that helps a lot, but that's more for like racing. As far as trail riding, you can still do a narrow bar because it definitely helps with turning. But for me, that's about all I do.
Okay.
It's similar for me. I do narrow them, but probably not as much, maybe only like an inch in from stock handlebars. But being low is probably the most important thing for every single country rider. So mine are really low, and I still think that I probably could go lower. I'm just too nervous to do it before I try it. But that is everything with backcountry riding. The second you lower them and learn how to ride like that, then suddenly you're not using your muscle and you're letting your body in the sled do the work. It's like, that was the number one best change I've ever done.
Sure. And I'll tell you, Danielle, an inch is a lot being a manufacturer. It's amazing what that does.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You can fit through more trees.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The slightest thing makes such a huge difference. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You think about trees for the first thing, okay?
Yeah.
There's a many of them here.
The kill switch too, honestly. So I have the RSI flat one because I learned the hard way when I went up to Colorado on my first summit. The kill switch, I was going up the hill, the mountain, like straight up, climb, and there was a tree and it caught the kill switch and I ended up scorpioning over the handlebars because of that kill switch.
No.
So ever since then, I was like, oh, great, RSI came out with a kill switch that's flush mount. I'm like, great, that's exactly what I need because I don't want to go over the handlebars again. So
It only takes one of them to never want to do it again either. So
yeah.
I've
Yeah.
actually picked out mine as well because I had the push and I was in a race one time, just doing what I do best, and I just smoked my face so hard on the handlebars and it hit the kill switch and shut my foot off. So now I have the different kill switch where you really have to push it, and then I twist it around on the back side of my handlebars as well, so it doesn't get bumped.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, for somebody that doesn't race anymore, or tried it kind of thing, but, ski pressure for me was huge trail riding, because when you get your sled and it's set up stock, the manufacturers do set it up for a guy, and they take the average weight of a man, his height, and his arm reach. So your ski pressure, again, control over speed. When you change your ski pressure, it's going to help you either steer a little easier, or affects your shock. So again, then your rear shock, if you have a person that can play with that a little bit. And then also, I don't know why, because I don't feel like I have small hands, but I always have to bring my levers in because I cannot reach them. I don't know what it is. I just can't. So good. You guys mentioned the handlebars. So handlebar setup is huge, not just the bar itself, but your controls on there. I even had to take mine and roll some of the buttons backwards the way I hold them or whatever. So ski pressure, shock. I'm trying to think, is it tightness on the track or something too? Jason will do something. I can't remember. Dan has tightened up. I don't know.
Well, yeah, you don't want it slapping.
Yeah, so.
But as least as possible is good.
Yeah, so just a few little tweaks. And if you're a girl out there watching and you don't have a guy to do that for you, call your dealership up, talk to the serviceman, and ask them and say, you know, here's my weight, here's my height, my arm span is this, and I really don't like to lean, or I do like to lean. Those things are key for them, and it's probably just a good hour adjustment for them to make that. And I've found at all the events that I run, when a guy comes in and he's like, my girl had the worst day, we're not coming back. And I'm like, what is she riding? He's like, stock sled, or my sled from last year. I'm like, well, first of all, you idiot.
It's not set up that way.
I mean, I just say it to him. I'm like, honestly, I'm like, oh, you just put her out for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And
Struggling.
yeah, I mean, she's driving the Porsche the first time and she can't reach the levers. I mean, come on, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, definitely. I think a lot of what you're saying is, all of you, is these little changes is such a big thing. I mean, it's hard to explain. If I just moved this an inch, if I just went here a little bit, if I rotated this back, well, that can't make a difference. These are incredibly big. So
manufacturers have asked me about it. They've said, what can we do? But unfortunately, we're still not the amount that's out there for them to do that, you know?
Yeah.
But they are aware of it. So I'll be honest, there are, what am I thinking? Specs out there for the mechanics to kind of follow along. So,
Sure.
To go off of the suspension comment, I think that's probably one of the most important for setting it up. I mean, with everything else, but a lot of people step over suspension from both track shocks and skis. And for being a small rider, or any size, but definitely if you're a small rider, if it's set up for a man or whoever else rode it before, just not ever look at that. It can change 110% how the sled rides. So many people.
Beaver tail, and we used to flip off the
Oh
beaver
my
tail.
God, yeah. The beaver tail, man.
That's
2003.
Yeah, that's what this is like.
Yeah.
So.
I would say, I mean, definitely suspension. It's pretty incredible. You'd think, 20, 30 pounds can't be that big of a deal, but riding with Emma when she's younger, I mean, I'd put something on her, I'd have to get off and make an adjustment.
Absolutely.
And myself at 230 pounds, I mean, if I put a 115 pound, 130 pound girl on there, it's going to change it immensely. And we're like, you're fine, go ride it. Take the 10 minutes to make an adjustment.
You send her for torture, Jason, is what
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got stories, don't get me wrong. So,
Yeah, I definitely think for new riders, it's important to be comfortable. And if something isn't working or doesn't feel right, just speak up, because whoever you're with, they're not going to be rude or mean. You need to be comfortable, and you need to tell them, hey, this doesn't feel right. How can we fix it? And you might not know how to explain it, but just say, hey, I'm not comfortable. I need this changed, or this is how I'm feeling on it. And hopefully whoever you're with can help you with that. And especially dealerships, they'll know a lot of how to set up.
I agree with you. It's really hard to make a change without a conversation. So we all agree we want the change, but you got to give us the information, whoever that would be, to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like
another thing for
Jason,
backcountry. Sorry, you can go.
You go ahead. You're good.
Another thing for backcountry is the narrowness of the sled. I see a lot of new riders start and be intimidated about the tippiness sled, so they don't want a narrow front end or something. But then the whole time they're just fighting it. So if you basically it comes with learning the proper way. But if you can learn how to ride the sled being narrow, it's only easier the whole rest of the time.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that.
Especially for tight tree riding. Out west, I don't think it really matters narrowness, but that's just from my experience. But definitely out East Coast tree riding, the more narrow your sled is, the better you'll be able to maneuver it, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Which comes down to like the wheels on the track, even everything that's a bit bigger.
The bogey wheels, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, for my side, it's still trial and error because I haven't been on it that long. But like our last conversation, Jason, my seat, that's a big problem for me. I got a backcountry because I trail ride and I off trail ride with my brother, so I needed a crossover sled.
Mm-hmm.
But that bulky seat is just in the way. So I'm in the process of finding a Summit seat to replace it, but I can't. And my
have you looked at the 740C or 730C seat that they have for the Summit?
Not yet.
It's not an aftermarket. Actually, Skidoo sells it. But it's kind of like what the Expert now has on it.
Okay.
It's a very low flat seat. I don't know if it will fit on the backcountry because my father myself just bought that Backcountry XRS, and I know what you mean by that seat. The seat's huge.
I'm
not exactly sure if the connectors and the underneath the seat is going to match the same, because I know his where his battery cover is longer than where my stuff ends on my Expert. So I'm not just make sure it fits, but they do make an aftermarket seat for that.
Yeah.
If it comes down to it, I just take the cover off and cut the top off the same shape and then restaple it.
Yeah.
What a lot of British riders have to do, Danielle.
How about so we got a pretty good baseline. We got somebody on a sled. We're starting to ride. Before we went out and got on this machine, let's talk a little bit about some of this clothing. How are we going to dress them? What are we going to talk about? What kind of problems that they're going to arise being a woman rider? I mean, right now, I could buy guy clothes anywhere. I mean, I see women clothes out there. Is there advantages, disadvantages? What do we got? What do you suggest to them to go out and make this purchase? Because nowadays it's not cheap. It's not $100 to go buy an outfit. So, we want to buy something that's right, that works for them. Tell me a little bit about what we should be doing there.
Depends on what you're riding.
Mm-hmm.
Fill me in.
Well, trail riding, you typically, especially if you're out here, you're riding in, below degree weather and you're going 60 miles an hour, you need some warm gear. Mm-hmm. If you're riding backcountry, I wear non-insulated gear. I'm usually sweating my ass off, and I'm usually taking layers off most of the ride. So I think it really depends on what you're doing, I guess, how you layer up to get where you're going.
It brings up a great point that at this point right now, a new rider has no concept. I mean, we all walk outside and we go, it's 10 freaking degrees out. I'm cold. I want more clothes on. And to explain to them, just start riding and you'll end up sweating. No, I won't. So this conversation is so important to understand to them. So we all get that. We do the same thing when we're doing out country. So
layer up and you can always take it off. Don't ever go out without enough layers on, because then you're screwed.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm a fan of non-insulated with more layers underneath, and bring a backpack if you need. But it is, to answer your question originally, it is easier now, I think, more than it ever has been, at least for me, to find gear. They've definitely shaped it around us. Maybe not like the perfect thing, like I struggle finding my size, but overall, and like some brands are even unisex now. So it's getting easier and easier.
And the biggest thing I tell people is don't wear cotton against your skin. Wear wear a wicking moisture material.
Yep.
Because that cotton, once you sweat, you're gonna stay wet.
Freeze.
So yeah, and I mean, if you can't afford the companies that are out there in the snowmobile industry, you can always go to local stores, and it's amazing. I shouldn't be saying this, but the non-snowmobile industry stuff, like for running and hiking, they have that dry wicking material or those materials. If you get
like Under Armour makes 4.0s and they're really good.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then,
we'd rather have you riding than none. So
exactly.
Or reach out to other snowmobilers, other girl snowmobilers. Me, if anybody needs any stuff, I have lots of stuff. So, I mean, just reach out to people.
Leah's giving away free stuff. Well, no problem. I'll give out
You
your.
get a
We'll
jacket.
set you
You
up.
get a jacket.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
No, but just reach out. Like, if you can't find anything or you don't know, just ask. I mean, we're not scary people. We'll definitely help you out.
Borrow something at first.
Yeah, borrow something, you know, whatever it might be.
I think if anybody in this industry, snowmobilers, they'll borrow you anything. When it comes to helmet, gloves. We got way too much most of the time. We're in it, so.
Yep.
How about helmets? Is there an issue
Oh, and
there?
a lightweight helmet.
Do you think there's a difference between a girl and a guy helmet? Do you have an issue?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Absolutely. I think there's a weight difference, especially, well, obviously girls probably gonna have a smaller head, but also I think the carbon fiber helmets are the way to go because they're so light. And for me, I'll ride. I mean, last year we rode 400 miles in one day, and that's a lot of bouncing around on a trail. And I feel like a bobblehead most of the time. It's nice to have a lighter helmet so I don't feel like my neck's broken at the end of the day.
If you're not used to a helmet, you will notice it at the end of the day, no matter what you're doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It would be nice to have, but for the expenditure, it gets a little tough for people too. But it's definitely an advantage.
So
What about like helmet hair then? Is that an issue with girls?
It depends on what you're riding and what you want, because there are people that I know that like to ride with modular helmets because they're easy to lift up and talk. I have people who like riding with the motocross open faced helmets, and I mean they like everything. It depends on, for one thing, warmth and ventilation. Because backcountry riding, you don't want to wear a trail helmet because your head's gonna be sweating so bad. A lot of ventilation in a helmet that for backcountry riding, at least. For trail riding, you know, I typically will wear a helmet that's, you know, it's like a motocross helmet, but I also wear a lot of layers underneath it so my face doesn't freeze. Because I don't like the heaviness of a modular or a full face helmet, because they are a little bit heavier than obviously a motocross type of helmet. So it just depends on how warm you want to be and what you're kind of doing.
And you can always, I was joking around with this, Jason, earlier, but duct tape is your best friend. In snowmobiling and motocross, no matter what you do, duct tape.
I agree.
It is, she can be so creative with it. And I worked for a helmet company for a while, and no matter what helmet you have, but any of the vents that you have in it, you can always take your lining out of your helmet. You can tape the vents on the inside, and you can tape the vents on the outside. So like I wear motocross style because I get too warm. So there's times where, you know, we'll be riding in the northern UP and I've got myself all taped up inside and out. And then I go to Togedy and I forget and I start riding. I'm like, oh my God.
My head's sweating.
Here's my duct tape flying, you know, not
I
putting
duct
it
tape everything.
Yeah.
I literally duct tape. I duct tape my face.
Yeah.
I duct tape my gloves.
everything.
I mean, people must
you do some serious like riding. Like if Danielle and I did that, people we would look at us, be like, are you okay?
We bring a roll and
Why are you duct
right?
taped everywhere?
I have probably 15 rolls in my trailer of duct tape. Like, duct tape here, folks. Don't worry about it.
And then just the last thing for a helmet, for people to understand, if you buy a helmet, let's say you buy a size small, and it doesn't fit you, you can exchange that liner out because the shell is 2 sizes. So let's just say it's an extra small and a small, and then a medium is a medium and a large, based on how many sizes each helmet company has. But your shell is always 2 sizes. Your liners come in your individual sizes. So that is awesome because you really can't go wrong. And when we used to do sizing for people, if you are watching out there as a new person, when you put your helmet on, just make sure if you can put your fingers inside your helmet's too big.
Yeah.
And then have a friend. I was actually going to bring a helmet out tonight, but you know, maybe we do this the next time or something. Emma can do that for us next time. But if you put your helmet on, have a friend grab the front of your helmet, and if you can turn your head in your helmet's too big. Yep. And I think that's one of the biggest safety mistakes people make when they go out on any type of riding is, number one, you need a correct helmet and, you know, hopefully chest protection or something like that. So that's my spiel on helmets.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you go with motocross, buy the right goggles. It's probably the next most important thing, that they need to fit right and not fog up.
I
go with clear lines.
Fogging up is so annoying.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Especially trail riding, and then they freeze over and you gotta like scrape it off. It's just...
Or you put it in your exhaust to warm
it. And then it's
I learned that
the sled den is like known for that. There are pictures of a lot of us riding without goggles on because of that issue. And
it's not.
I had to keep scraping a little hole in my goggles so I could see through the little
That's not a good thing.
No.
Especially when you forgot to take your hot dogs out of there and you left your goggles in there. I see friends do that too, and their goggles do not come out.
Goggle lunch. There you go. Just put them in.
Yep.
What about anything special that a woman should be aware of when she's riding? I mean, we've got guys, we take our helmet off and just walk into lunch and don't give a shit. Is helmet hair an issue? Would you remind her of that? Is there any type of support? Chapstick? I mean, what do we got out there that, you know, they need to be aware of?
I have really long hair and it gets tangled really, really fast. So I always braid mine.
Braid it.
Because if it just goes in my helmet, it's a complete disaster. And then I can't even comb through it. I need to actually put conditioner through my hair. So like braid it or put it in a ponytail or something. And chapstick is definitely a must because it's so, I mean, people don't realize how dry it actually is, but your lips will get so dry out there. So chapstick.
And your nose. You can use chapstick. If it's really cold, you can put it on your cheeks and your nose to keep yourself from getting frostbite.
And bring a hat. It's nice to put a hat on when you take your helmet off.
Oh my God, a hat.
I can't go anywhere without one.
No, or sunglasses.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about this, you know?
A little secret here. Jason probably uses more hair product than all of us.
Yep.
So just from traveling with him all the years. So he's So he's the first one to worry about what his helmet hair looks like when he takes his helmet off.
Right.
Well, you gotta look professional. That's what it is.
Professional.
So we touched a little bit on this on and off, but you know, us guys are going to take the woman out for the first ride. And as I said, I failed miserably. I don't know why she's with me after almost 20 years here, but get on the machine, push the gas, hit the brake. And if you don't keep up, it's getting irritated to me. Who goes 30 miles an hour? Come on, you can pedal the damn thing faster. So, you know, what would you tell the guys at this point to say, hey, we're going to take the girls out, or you're going to take your girlfriend out, or you want to get her into riding? And 9 out of 10 of us will fail without some decent advice. I'll be honest with you. That's what's going to happen. So what would you tell us, and how would you explain it to bring them on that first ride?
Have patience.
That's what I was going to say.
Have patience. I know it's hard for some people, but honestly, have some patience. They're just learning.
Have patience and don't bring them with your 45 guy friends.
Yep.
Maybe do like a one-on-one to start with. I don't know.
Yeah.
We are
exactly.
mad at that.
Yeah, it's like don't get a whole huge group together first of all, because it's not only going to make them nervous, but it's also going to kind of make everybody else in the group annoyed. So probably it's not the best decision for the first ride to take them with a ton of people.
Good point.
No.
If I was in that position, I would feel like I'd have to go like faster, probably end up hurting myself.
Exactly.
You know, you're gonna want to keep up at the same time, and it's just
yeah, because you're automatically gonna feel bad that you're like, oh, I'm holding everybody up. Let me just push myself a little bit farther, and then that's how it
end up.
And teach them every step that you're doing. Like I see a lot of guys try to teach their girlfriends, and it's like, well, just do this, watch, just do that. And it's like you're skipping the most important throttle control, and like, press the brake afterwards, but when and where are your feet? Like, there's a lot of details that if you tell someone the first time, they'll be able to do it.
What are details?
I don't even know.
Well, but you guys said it, somebody said it earlier, don't take them and just put them out on the trail. Let them go around a field at your house the day before they go, because now they know throttle control, they know their brake, they know what it's like to fall over. You know, doing that on a trail for the first time is really scary, and especially with another sled coming at you.
Other people are coming,
You know, and have you taught them their hand signals yet? Things like
Stay
that.
on the right side of the trail.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Thing.
Yeah.
Literally the right side.
Yeah. Or you know, go to an event the first time, like at Pink Ribbon Riders events. It's a great opportunity. When I meet people at the snow shows, I tell them all the time, come to one of our events, because they say, oh, my girl's never rode before, but I bought her a sled. Well, great. We'll put her in our beginner group. She doesn't even have to ride with you for the day. Let her learn with other friends, or you're gonna be a couple, take another couple with a girl that's there that day. Or like somebody else said, you know, don't bring them with the 40 friends that day. But if you're a guy out there, just give us a little bit of chance. If you want respect as a rider, give us respect that we're not dumb. And I guarantee you we'll probably be, if we like it, you're going to have a better world, because we're going to start riding with our friends and maybe not always go with you, and you can have your guys' weekend.
Yeah. Send it to a ladies' clinic. That's top priority.
There you go.
I mean,
I have
and
professionals
honestly,
right here to put it on, not me. So
if you're gonna do a trail ride, typically I'll put them in front of me, because I obviously don't want them to be behind me, because God forbid something happened and no one knows what happened. They shouldn't be the last person, but they shouldn't be the first person either. They should
always put them second.
be two trusted people that can handle not only following someone who's a little bit slower, but also be able to look back and make sure they're still behind you. So that's the biggest tip that I have, especially if you're going to do trail riding. It's a little bit different. Backcountry, you're going to have to follow them. You're going to have to be able to stay with them. Don't ever let them go by themselves. That's one of the most dumbest thing you can actually do to a female rider, especially who's not used to being out in the backcountry, because they don't know where they are. They don't know how to get out of something. They don't know if they're stuck. Maybe they don't know how to use a radio. How do they?
And I think you bring up a good point that us guys are horrendous at. Is number one, guys don't get stuck, right? You know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
Mike never gets stuck. It's okay.
It's okay. You know, I mean, we're like, oh shit, we got stuck. We got to hurry up and pull ourselves out, or somebody's gonna pull their damn phone out and post this thing. Like, you can't even stop.
Yeah.
But you know, we have to let them know that that's really important. It's okay. Take it easy. If you get stuck, we'll get up. That's what a snowmobile does. So.
Or I don't know if you have the opportunity, but I'm very lucky to have a lot of guys as friends from the industry and stuff. And when I learn something, even golf, I'm better by learning from somebody else than my significant other, especially because him and I are so competitive. Jason knows this for sure. Emma knows this.
Doesn't want to learn from you. Do you want to learn from me, or do you want to learn from these girls?
Easy answer.
Pretty much.
Emma was teaching me how to wakeboard this summer, and it's a heck of a lot easier to learn how to wakeboard from her than my significant other. So that's a suggestion. If you're out there and you know you've got that other guy friend, there's usually more patience for each other when it's not your other. Or just try to go with a couple friends that day. Let that person ride around the parking lot, and then I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's one girl that's rode for a long time that would be afraid to say, you know what, let me just take her for 10 minutes. We'll meet you, or we'll be back. And that first 10 minutes is huge.
Well, one thing I got to say is that, you know, I'm paying attention to you girls and listening to what's going on. And, you know, one thing I did notice is paying attention to what you all do is you're all athletic, you all work out, you stay in shape. And I mean, I believe that's probably a huge creditor to riding a snowmobile from what I've heard talking to you a lot. So, I mean, but looking at all your posts too, it looks like y'all work out because I can see that too. So can we show that to everyone else too?
Oh boy.
I know I'm not on
Eyes.
It's gotta be these girls.
Oh God, please don't be bad. Please don't be bad.
Oh, look at that.
See, those aren't bad.
Oh, cute.
Cute.
So, you know, I would say that is a big thing though. Staying.
Wait, there was no picture.
That was no picture, dude. That
Oh,
was
you
you
didn't see
getting
it?
married.
You showed them the wedding picture. You
Oh,
showed
you just wanted to see
background.
my wedding picture?
That's all we
That's
saw.
all I saw.
Cute. What's
Oh.
happening with it?
I'm really scared to know what these pictures are,
I
actually.
was trying to confuse
I'm
it.
gonna block
Let's
you
see.
on
We want to look
Instagram.
at, how about this one here? Okay, so now do we see it?
No.
Nope.
You gotta
Let's go with
drag
your-
it into that screen.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
great! I
Oh.
have blonde hair.
Long
Yeah,
hair.
that was last year.
See, even Emma's hanging on there. See?
I see
Yeah.
that. That's
Little
cute.
gymnastics
Way to go,
girl.
Emma.
Oh, that's at Heydays.
That's it. Hey,
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
so-
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is a big deal, I think, out there to make sure we all stay in shape and do things, because it is a sport that is takes energy, takes work, takes strength to do it. So I mean, I think telling people that makes a huge difference in your riding fun at that point. So
Yeah.
But don't be intimidated if you're not in great shape.
no, a good
You
point.
can get there.
Yeah.
It'll help you, let's put it that way.
Yeah,
more
and a lot of
technique
times
you
your riding muscles are different than your gym muscles.
Absolutely.
No matter how in shape you are, the first couple rides you're still gonna feel like you got hit by a bus.
You're
Yeah.
gonna discover muscles you've never
I think
used
every one of us will
ever.
be poor after the
Ever.
first ride.
Honestly, it's just crazy. I will literally bust myself in the gym for 6 months straight before a race. That first race, I'm like, I thought I was in such good shape and my everything hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just how
Like
it is.
that one muscle that you thought that you never had, you found it. 'Cause
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, I think stretching is huge.
Yeah.
As I get older, I found yoga, and
Yeah.
stretching. Like you said, you don't have to be in shape to start snowmobiling. Don't let that intimidate you.
No.
And as you get older, it's harder to stay in shape. So just simple stretches. I mean, it's, just think about if you're out on the sled and you're riding, it's just as simple, your arms and everything. This part can hurt more on a woman than most, because like I said, we don't have the upper body strength as a guy. So just doing those stretches for your shoulders and stuff before you go out will make you feel so much better that next day after you rode.
Yep.
And endurance, stamina.
Girls, you got to do your cardio. I'm telling you, you got to do it.
So I hate cardio. Like, I legit hate cardio. But I make sure that I do, 100 flights of stairs every time I go to the gym, because I need to be able to side hill a sled. And
Yep.
Jason, you won't see me doing
Breath.
that at the gym.
No, me either.
Like
Going to hike is what
stairs.
I do.
I just thought if you walked on a treadmill, that's cardio, right?
I'm clinically insane when it comes to a gym, and Jason will tell you that.
Ashley, does this count as cardio?
Oh, yes,
Ooh.
totally.
Right.
I need some
Yeah.
cardio.
Bring it on.
The
Wait,
12
I'm
ounce
sending you some
curls.
over.
The
Airdrop
12
that
ounce
in.
curls.
I
Yeah.
don't know whose screen is what here, but
Oh my God. Yeah. Stamina
You know-
and endurance.
Yes.
one of the big comments we get, as guys are hanging out at the bar, we're BSing, and we get this: women are fair weather riders. That is one of the things that we're like, we don't want to, because it could be cold, it could be snowing. We're not taking you.
Jason, those girls don't ride. First of all, they're your friends. So, I'm just
So
kidding.
they're all gonna say that.
I don't have any friends. I mean, come on now. But I mean, I would say that at that point, the enjoyment of riding is so incredible for them to get out and be able to see these things, the fresh air, the locations, the places you can't go. It's well worth it. So, and once they get out there and start moving, that term of fair weather isn't there anymore, because you are warm, you're riding, it's just an average day. It's amazing when you go out and you go, gosh, it's 10 degrees out. It's going to be cold. It's like driving around in 50, 60 degree weather when you put everything on and you're out having a good time. So it's a whole different attitude.
Well, and it
And
goes
windshield.
back to them being comfortable riding too. If they're not having fun and they're, you're stressing them out or you're upset at them and they're not having a good time, they're going to feel the cold. If they're having fun, they're not going to
Oh, yeah.
feel the cold.
No.
You know what I mean? Like when I go and ride and I'm having a legit good time, it could be, 40 below and I'm having a blast. So I don't even think about the cold.
Sure.
Mhm.
The riding partners, the people you're with, have a big scenario too with that, enjoying it.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, yeah, it's a lot easier to ride with bluebird skies than it is to ride in a blizzard. Of course it is. You can actually see. But
Yeah,
that
I wouldn't
doesn't-
suggest that as the first time riding. No.
No.
Yeah.
Do not put her in a blizzard. Please,
It's
don't.
it's a snowmobile. What's a little snow out coming down gonna
A
cost?
little snow is a little bit different than a complete whiteout.
Yeah.
Not want to put her in a situation where she cannot see. The confidence goes way down.
Sure.
If you want her to never ride with you again, that's what you do.
Yeah.
There are people that do that. So.
Yeah.
You know, one thing my dad's always reminded me, every memory we have from a weekend riding is when someone's stuck and when we're trying to get someone out. Like, less memories are from, oh, like, he did really good. No, it's when you stop and you get stuck and you hang out. So that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's anything my dad taught me, is you live life for memories. That's it.
Yeah.
So you have nothing other than that. So.
Mhm.
But
If you're not stuck, you're not riding, right?
that's true.
Yeah.
You don't fall, you don't learn. That kind of deal too. So yeah.
Although if I was trail riding, I don't want to be stuck.
That's different.
I don't.
Probably bad.
So what do you think? Couple advantages or disadvantages to the women are? Is there any?
You can totally play the girl card. If you're riding with a bunch of guys and you don't want to go fast, you just be like, oh, I'm scared, sorry, I'm a girl. You just play the girl card.
I've done that. Done that.
I don't expect that from you two at all.
I can't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
They'll look at me and laugh and be
talking
like,
I'm
okay,
talking about
Ashley.
the younger Leah.
I wouldn't be taken seriously.
No, exactly. They would look at me and laugh and be like, okay, Ashley. Okay.
You're staying behind.
I had
Yeah.
terrible frostbite on my face because my goggles weren't secure enough, and it was horrible. So I was like, I have to go slow. It was awful.
That makes sense. That's a good excuse.
See if you had your duct tape.
Yeah.
Duct tape. Yeah, well, you're lucky you weren't a guy because we just said, get back on your sled, figure it out.
Oh, it was
You're
awful.
going to be lucky if we wait for you at the next stop, all
It
right?
hurt so bad.
One advantage is typically more people help me get unstuck than like a guy,
Sure.
which I will take any day.
Yeah.
You know, I do like the comment of definitely ride with more women than guys to start with because we're not going to train you very well. I can see that right now. So listen.
And you're not forgiving.
Patience.
Yeah,
You get patience. I don't know what that is. So, now, if you get stuck once, you learned, right?
No.
Sure. Yep. Totally.
Question.
You know what it is, though? You never hear all the stories when the guys are out and all the silly things that they do.
We don't do anything. We just ride. Nothing happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I see you got your cardio as well. Must be nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I thought Emma was supposed to be asking these questions.
Emma's got questions. You want to ask one of your questions?
She's like, no, I'm good.
Come on. Ask away. Want me to help you a little bit? You got it. What's that first one? You have a question. She wants to know how old everyone is when you start.
No. Let's not play that game. That's not a fun one for me.
Oh,
You
stop,
started
Leah.
snowmobiling.
No, when you started, not actually how old you are.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
that
if you want to divulge that right now too, that's your choice. But
I don't care either way. I started basically as soon as I could walk. My father had me like in front of him on a sled as soon as I could walk. But by myself, I was 4, and then obviously started racing. But I'm 33 now, so it's been a long time.
Yeah, I also started when I was like 4 or 5 with my dad.
Leah, you don't want
How old I am?
yeah, we didn't hear the end of that. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you caught all of it.
I also started once my dad could hold me on in front of him, and then probably seriously backcountry riding just when I was like 17, maybe 16, but not full seriousness till like the last couple of years.
I started when I was 21, so I haven't been in it that long, but 2 years ago.
Doesn't matter as long as you love it.
Yeah.
But it's great to have a perspective. So that's the big thing I'm looking at here. You know, you're information is important, just as anybody else has been out there. So, Jody, you've been doing it for 6 or 7 years?
Yeah, it's like dinosaur age. I started riding probably around 25, 26. So I started very late. And I was one of those people where, I was a summer person. I skied, but I don't feel like you got as cold when you skied. I mean, I wasn't an out west skier or up in Canada or anything, but like skiing in Vermont and New York, it was cold, but not like snowmobiling. You could go inside and warm up, So yeah, snowmobiling was tough for me when I started. I wasn't very sure about it. But yeah, you fall in love with the atmosphere around it, Riding in New York trails, it's so tight turns and riding the complete bumps. When I moved to Michigan, people
moguls, man.
Those
things.
Yeah, they're like, it's so bumpy here. And I'm like, bumpy? I'm like, this is a highway.
No. You want bumpy, you go Trail 5 in Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. You'll get bumpy.
Yeah.
It's off your sled, like legit off your sled.
I started in Tug Hill, New York. And you're lucky.
Tug Hill is beautiful. I've been riding there. No. It's nice.
Maybe it's not as bumpy as anymore. It used to be bumpier than crap.
They do a great job grooming now. They do.
Well, that was before groomers, though. So yeah.
It's the best place for watercross racing.
Right.
Yeah. But that's what, that's where the short track came. Everybody rode the short tracks out there and it was so much fun. And then out west, people were riding and people from the east kind of started going out there and fell in love with it. And now you've got beautiful trees in New Hampshire and Vermont and Maine to ride, free ride and stuff. And, and someday Canada, maybe someday.
Yeah.
Canada's fun.
Yeah. Someday.
Come with us. Daniel and I will take you out.
I am not the best backcountry rider.
Who cares?
There's
No one
open,
cares.
and it's like there's always somewhere to go down below that anyone can.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But then you can always go and test yourself and go up higher. But there's always usually an out.
I love the trees.
There is always an out, for sure. Yeah.
Especially, like, there's always other people that are similar riding ability. So it's not intimidating.
No.
I can do the trees all day long. I love being in the trees in the powder. Side hilling for me is hard. I'm a dinosaur, so I've had this rebuilt, the knees rebuilt. So
I've had my knees rebuilt 5 times. You're not a dinosaur.
There are places to climb in the trees, and then you can just go down.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't have to side hill.
No.
Every March, though, we're out there for the Wyoming Snow Run for Pink Urban Riders, and it's a blast. And, to Jason's point, getting, advantages and disadvantages for a girl, I think it's such an advantage for a woman to come out riding out west when you actually haven't trail rode before, because you don't know any bad habits. And, I mean, for a guy, too. But the guys can't get rid of their attitude, like, I'm great at this kind of thing. Yeah.
Just like me.
So a girl gets out there and, if she doesn't have any bad habits of trail riding, or even if she's not the best trail rider, I have a couple new ladies coming out this year. And I tell them I get out here once a year. I kind of forget. Every year it takes me time to get back into it. But this powder is so forgiving, and it just takes your fears away of getting hurt. And if you take a professional guide out, they are not going to bring you somewhere that you shouldn't be. So you have already that confidence of following that person. Back to my point earlier, maybe don't go ride with your significant other or keep him behind, So yeah, I think advantages for women, definitely try out west riding. And then there's so many riding clinics. And I don't know if you touched on this before I got on, but there's all these chat sites now that are women riders. Don't believe everything you read, because it doesn't mean everything you read is for you. But talk to the girls out there, and like somebody was saying, I think Leah was saying, equipment wise or gear, people might be looking to get rid of something or suggest that way. It's definitely not like back in the day. You can get on social media now and find almost anything you want or somebody to talk to.
Right.
So.
And all of us are here for your questions. I get DM'd pretty much daily on what to wear for gear. And I have no issue whatsoever answering those questions and helping everybody and walking them through. So don't feel ever like you're annoying us about asking us those kind of questions, because it's totally not like that. We're here to help you. So just reach out to us.
I am notorious for missing messages, so if I ever don't respond within 24 hours.
Well, we just shut you off right now. Hold on, let me click.
All right, bye, Leah.
It's fun. All right.
I've been struggling. I've been bouncing back and forth between a bunch of different social media accounts that I run. So I'm not even actually on my page a lot. I kind of bounce back and forth. So if I miss your message, don't panic, because I will respond, but it does take me a minute. But yeah, shoot us a message. We're not, you're not annoying us. We'd love to help out. So
Growing up with an older brother, I really wish I would have had one of you ladies there to help me, because he was the only one training me. But I'm definitely going to reach out to you guys too for any more questions that I have, because I'm newer to the sport. So it's nice to know. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
It's definitely helped to learn from people that ride too, because getting your own bad habits is probably like the biggest mistake to then relearn from that. So
yeah. Well, just like you said, Jody, I grew up trail riding. Countersteering on a trail is never good. So, getting the hold of I did countersteering for motorcycles and stuff like that because that made sense to me. But being on a sled and countersteering on a sled was like, oh, you can't do that. It's a whole new learning process. And the greener you are with something, the better you are to learn that.
Yeah.
For me, it was harder to get rid of my trail riding habits and move to backcountry and become more comfortable doing that than it was for trail riding. And now I feel awkward when I trail ride because I'm like, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
My mind doesn't associate with either of them now.
That's exactly how I feel too. I am such a flatlander, and I get out in the mountains and I look like a complete idiot. They're like, don't you ride snowmobiles? And I'm like, yeah, but.
Hey, try owning a performance shop and going riding with some of these people, and so you make these parts and you don't even know how to ride them. So I get shit all the time. So
yeah, it's a big difference.
Absolutely.
All right, you got another quick question, Em?
Yeah. What colors are your snowmobile?
Mine looks like Skittles.
Yeah, Ashley, I was gonna say that. I'm like, Ashley's the bag of Skittles.
But I still have.
You get what you get. You don't throw a fit on the deal here. It's a $high show.
I do still have the pink skis though.
Okay, good.
My mom had breast cancer, and so everybody keeps asking me why I have pink skis all the time, and it's in support of breast cancer. So CNA usually.
I love that. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's been many years, hasn't it, Lee, your mom?
It has. Yeah, she's
10?
Probably 10 plus, 10, 12 years. Yeah, she's doing really well. But yeah, I just rock them, and now everybody knows it's me, and they reflect really nice off the snow. So when I'm coming through the ditches, it's like, oh, they can see me right away.
Yeah.
It actually worked out.
Go ahead, ask one more. Ask him that one.
What's the fastest you've went?
Not too fast for me.
I think the fastest I've gone on radar is probably 114 miles an hour on the ice.
The last time I was racing I was 14 and I was on a Mark Z, and I was doing 108 in 500 feet. So
I think I've only got up to about 80.
It's
I've
amazing
maybe
how
hit
fast.
70.
God, you're lucky to hit 60.
Yeah.
Well, you two girls seen this, so I mean, I had my couple of my season, invites here. Let's see where we got. We had.
Boy.
See, I showed you that one.
Oh my God, there it is.
So we have racers, and they're old school there, huh?
I have been trying to find that sled ever since we sold it.
Oh, did you?
I love it. I would totally get another Mark Z. I love that sled.
Hey, Jody, I need some pictures from you. You're hard to find pictures of without, digging stuff up. So.
Yeah, you got to put yourself out on the internet more, Jody.
Yeah, you just got to put yourself out there. I don't exist, so what am I talking about?
I know you guys don't understand. He didn't have a lot of time to look up stuff, because I looked up stuff today just in case, looking and thinking I could delete things if I had to. And there is some stuff out there. Oops. Probably not from when I raced snowcross or I did more hill climbs than I did snowcross, but thank God cameras weren't invented back then.
Listen, I'm surprised you didn't put that picture up of the blizzard, my dad's like 76 blizzard. There's a picture on my Instagram of that.
Okay.
Next time.
It's even younger than that. That was his race sled, actually.
Oh, I've got young pics. I can make fun of myself just as much as anybody else.
You have to.
Well, one thing we want to do is the end result of this is to really get there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Is to get women into the sport. So let's talk a little bit. How do we try to make a baby step and do that? Things like we're doing right now and sharing it, getting it out there, talking about it. Getting that scare factor out of their mind, because that is a huge one that I hear all the time. You're driving 100 mile an hour scared machine with a tree a foot from me. There's an avalanche on it. I mean, whatever the scenario, this is what I hear. So how do we get them into it?
It's definitely education. I mean, we grew up riding snowmobiles and our families all ride snowmobiles. So it's more educational for the people that are not involved in snowmobiling as much. And if we can get more information out there on where to start and who to talk to and what to do, I think that'll make it a lot easier for more women to want to ride.
Yeah, and to not be intimidated. Like, everything sounds scary and big and like hard to learn, but overall, if you just learn the right way, then it's not hard. Everyone can do it. It's just having patience and learning from the right people.
And know that you're not going to be judged. As we all know, this community is probably one of the best communities I've ever been involved in. We're not judgmental, especially if you're brand new. We know that you're learning. Like, you're already brave enough for even trying something like this. Yeah, it's a big machine. Yeah, you're going to go fast. Yeah, there's a lot of safety issues, but if you're taking that leap, you're brave for doing that.
Yeah.
Know that.
I was just going to say, don't forget about your snowmobile clubs. Snowmobile clubs are, the basis of what snowmobiling is and why we still have it. They not only fight for legislation to keep our trails open, but they talk to landowners to keep our trails going. They do so much for snowmobiling. So, like Emma's age, they put on the classes, and it would almost be awesome if there was a class for adults. I don't know if people would take it serious, but like I said, when I did that little, I don't know what it was called, an hour thing at the snow show, I had 50% men come to attend and 50% women. And the men that were there were interested because they were like, I want to get my wife into this or my girlfriend into this, and I don't know what to do. So there is a need for it, and the snowmobile magazines that run the shows have seen it and done it. So if you're new, contact your dealership. You can look up your state snowmobile association online or ask the dealership. A lot of times they run clinics themselves, how to change a belt or a spark plug. But like she said, don't be intimidated. The snowmobile community is your second best next family. We take a lot of pride in knowing that we helped somebody else become a snowmobiler or learn how. And it doesn't matter if you go once a year. I work so much in the winter, probably like Jason, I barely get to ride anymore. But when I get to ride, it's one of the best days of my entire year. And we just want to share that with everybody out there and just ask. You can find all of us.
Absolutely.
If you can't find us online, write a note to Straight Line Performance and ask to chat one of us. But go back to your snowmobile clubs. I'm sure they're doing a lot in your community, and as a woman or a guy getting involved, they're going to be probably your base right there to get started,
And reach out to us. I know that just because we're experienced riders doesn't mean we won't seek you out. Don't be intimidated to ask. Don't think that we won't let you ride with us because we're more advanced. That's not how it is. We really will take the time to teach you and make sure that you're learning properly. At least I know that, the people that are here right now will take the time to actually walk you through that snowmobile, make sure that you're comfortable, and not put you on a sled that you're going to kill yourself on. So, so just reach out to us.
Yeah, you've all taken the time to come on here. You have an interest. You want to see more people ride. You want to help. There's no doubt about that. So, you know, social media is a big deal. We you know, women out there amazingly, including my daughter here. I mean, she looks at you. She looks up to you. They want to understand. They want to follow. They have questions. They want to know what's going on. And I got to say, one thing I did notice is when I'm looking at what's with the selfie stuff, you know? I'm trying to figure that out. You know, we're out there just doing selfies after selfies. Is that normal or what?
Oh God, don't.
Oh yeah. Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, like pages of selfies here. I don't know what's going on. Are we advertising snowmobiles or, you know?
You have to show the face.
And the funny thing is that selfies are the most liked pictures. You post a picture of like you riding, and you'll get half the likes if you posted a selfie.
That's funny.
But also, to my defense, I don't. Because I know I can't see where your eyes are, but I know they're directed at me.
Of course.
I don't do as many anymore, but it's also, we're in the industry riding. We have helmets on 90% of the time. Nobody knows what we look like unless we take a selfie and post it.
Right.
I
I'm just gonna say that.
got to make a jab, so I had to do it somewhere, you know. So.
You
It's
other
okay.
ladies ever get called unicorns? I get that a lot.
Yes.
Unicorn.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate everything you girls did. This is not a 2-bit thing to take a couple hours out of your evening. Again, I mean, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. The big thing that you brought up is I'd like you to give me information so that the people that are going to watch this, they can reach out to you. You know, give me an Instagram, give me a Facebook, wherever you would like them to reach out to you, because who wants to talk to some 40-something-year-old guy? You know, it's not going to happen. They're going to want to reach out to you. So, you know, give me your information so that it's available to them so they can reach out.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Leah.
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. It's Leah Bauer 07. On Facebook, I do have an athlete page and a personal page. They're both probably that picture, actually. I don't know, but pink skis, look for me. I'm pretty easy to find. I'm all over the place.
You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook also. My username on Instagram is Nicole K. Langer, and Facebook is Nicole Langer. I also have my solo pictures on my Facebook, so you'll know it's me.
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, actually.
Oh,
My little sister got
Didn't
me
the
into
Russians ban that or something?
I can't do it, man. I
My
can't.
little sister made it for me, and then it like took off, so I had to. But Backcountry Boucher, Backcountry_Boucher, or Danielle Boucher.
Cool. Go ahead.
And I'm at Instagram, AshXMay. And I don't have Facebook because I don't want to deal with the drama, so you can't find me on there. And I don't have a TikTok because, just like Leah said, we're too old to have
My dad has one.
I have one, just don't look for me. And I don't use it. I think I have like 4 videos, and then I'm like, what am I doing with my life? This took me 4 hours. I'm over this.
No, really? I'm good. Instagram is good enough for me. You can find me on there.
Mostly on Instagram.
Jody?
Well, I don't know how to run half of those. But I am very easy to find during the year. As the founder of Pink Ribbon Riders, I travel all over about 7 states throughout the year. So if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can just go here. This is easy. Pink Ribbon Riders. And you can go to our website, or we have a Facebook. And if you email Pink Ribbon Riders or go to the Facebook page for Pink Ribbon Riders, it comes to me. And it's just jody@pinkribbonriders.com. And yeah, thank you everybody for listening. Because like all these girls said, between all of our ages that we're talking about and our experience, we want you to come out ride. If you see the Pink Ribbon Riders trailer, stop me, wave us down. If you see the Bowers Racing trailer, you see Ashley out there or any of the girls, Danielle or Nicole, we'll be more upset that you don't come and ask us.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay?
Yeah. like you walk around heydays, they're like, oh, I saw you walking by. Well, why did you stop?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a real thing. I'm offended if you say to me, oh, I saw you, and you didn't come and say hi. I'm not a scary person.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you ask one of us where one of us is, I'm sure we can find each other for you.
Yeah.
A lot of us connect during the year and things like that, or stop in at the Straight Line tent. They'll find one of us. And if we're not available, I'm sure there is somebody else in the industry that we all know that lives near you. Or like we said, there's clinics available. There's so much out there for women compared to years ago. It's just crazy. I mean, clothing rentals, things like that.
Yeah.
That you do now before
Mountainous, the fact that you can, Mountainous, now that you can rent stuff is a huge thing. And I know her personally, and actually she's from New Hampshire, Danielle too. She's awesome. So it hit her up as well. If you don't know what kind of gear you don't know what kind of gear you want, rent it. It's great actually. So it's kind of cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic.
And we don't want the sport to die.
No.
So,
None of us do.
Yeah.
you girls are
Mother
gonna
Nature has to help us with
girls are
that.
going
though.
to help us keep the sport alive.
Yes, especially on the East Coast,
We need more
because our
girls.
season was awful last year.
Shut down.
We need more girls in the sport for sure.
Well, if anyone wants to talk to old guy, you can just go to straightlineperformance.com or RSIRacing.com. Either one.
We're gonna edit that part
I'm
out.
not sure what social media is. I'm not really on that, but you'll find me if you want to get a hold of me. But call the girls, Instagram them, chat them, whatever it is. They'll take care of you. Ladies, I will get you a discount code to take care of anybody that gets a hold of you via this video right here, so you can take care of them. I will also get some free giveaways to give away to the girls that get a hold of you, so we can keep track of what's going on.
Awesome.
So again,
I think, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think we should reach out to the girls that are Emma's age.
Yeah,
if there's any girls that are listening with their families or older sisters or friends that are Emma's age, because Emma, how old are you? You didn't say earlier.
8.5.
8.5.
8.5.
And can you tell everybody what you ride?
Skidoo.
Don't leave her hanging.
and you have a race sled too.
Ooh. Talk about that race sled.
You go.
I think Emma has gone faster than Nicole and I have.
And probably
more
faster
sleds
than
than
me
I do.
too.
Yeah. But if there's any girls that are Emma's age, even if it's before or after your safety certificate class, Emma was lucky. She's grown up in the snowmobile industry. She's helped me work the booth at Heydays, many shows. She's around snowmobiling, and she's got her own gear. So not only our age girls, but the young girls that are out there, there's the next snowmobiler that's who's coming up behind us and is going to take the industry into the next level for women. So if you want to get a hold of Emma, just get in touch with Straight Line Performance.
And we've all started somewhere. You just gotta start. We all
Do it.
somewhere. So
I do it.
yep.
That was my biggest mistake. I held back for so long when I should have just jumped right in. Don't be scared.
No.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, ladies?
Just thank you to you. Like,
Yeah, thank you.
I mean,
You're very
for
welcome.
you to even come up with this idea is a huge thing. So thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, for the woman.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Not a problem. It was great. I really appreciate taking the time. Again, I know time is valuable nowadays, so thank you very much.
It's not like we're going too far.
Nope. I'm just gonna go brine a turkey for tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you all have a good night, and we'll keep in touch then, all right?
Sounds good.
Sounds
Thanks.
good.
Bye, everybody. Nice
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you very much.
Bye, guys.
All right. See ya.